Hello everyone and welcome to Nighttime. A few days ago, we all received devastating news about the passing of Dwayne Haskins. I don't really want to talk about the football part of his life because he was much more than that. I remember before every game at Ohio State, they would play a clip of Haskins wanting to go to Ohio State. That clip was really motivating. He worked hard for years to turn his dream into a reality, which we should all take motivation from. The message here today is to hug your loved ones a little bit tighter because you never know when the last time would be. Rest easy, Simba. Now, without further ado, let's get the show started.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week of Nighttime. This episode is our second to last episode. Can't believe it, this season absolutely flied by. My name is Taylor Anderson. I am joined by my co-host Camden Mowery. Camden, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing good today. My finger's a little bit jammed from playing football on Tuesday, but hey, we're gonna be good. And how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for such a beautiful intro. We are so excited for this episode because we are talking about so many sports that we have not yet covered this season or last season. So we're gonna get into all of that. And join this segment is John Alfano. John, how are you doing today?
Nighttime is always a good time. It's great to be back here again, and I've become the de facto baseball and softball guy around here. So
you have.
Looking forward to
welcome back, baseball guy.
Yeah.
Are you ready to jump into some baseball?
Heck yeah.
All right, so the team took on Memphis this past weekend in Tennessee and walked away with the series win. Friday night was rough for UCF as they lost the Tigers 6-1. Memphis had a 4-run fourth inning, and the Knights didn't help by walking a season high of 10 batters. Saturday was big for head coach Greg Lovelady as he walked away with his 300th career win. The offense started hot with UCF scoring 5 runs in the first inning. Memphis cut the lead a few times, but the Knights walked away with a 13-3 win. Sunday sealed the deal for the series win for UCF when they won 15-6. I'm going to get into it more with my nightlight highlight later in the show, but there were some ejections in this last game. But Camden, what were some takeaways from this Memphis game this weekend?
Well, the first game Friday night was not really what we want to see out of the Knights. I will say this, though. I don't know if it's in the lower third, but they have won 8 out of their last 10 games. So this is impressive for our baseball team. They're kind of picking it back up where they left off when they were 3-0 at the start of the year. So this is good. John, how about that series?
Yeah, it was an interesting one, to say the least, especially that game on Sunday. That was crazy with the ejections, the 10-run first inning, Memphis kind of getting back into it. But, you know, I'm really proud of the way they played. They went on the road against a tough team, and they got the series win.
They did. I'm very proud of them for going on the road and getting more series wins. And they also walked away with another win Tuesday night, beating the Jacksonville University 6-1, the Dolphins. Cameron Crane was also able to get his first win and his first start of the season, and the Knights scored 3 runs in 2 separate innings, giving them the win. The pitching staff only walked 2 batters all night, which was a big improvement from their game last Saturday. So this pitching staff, I feel, has really stepped up for this team. What are you seeing out of this team with people? I know you want to talk about Ben McCabe, but players that have really stepped up.
Well, you know that pitching staff's really good. Connor Stan, I think his name is, the guy that Doug has been talking nonstop about, talking her ear off, has not given up an earned run yet, and they pulled him without giving up a run. Thank you for that stat, Doug. Now, pitching staff playing amazing. When you're playing Jacksonville, you expect something like this to happen. So luckily, they did come away with the win. And, I mean, John, this team, they're playing pretty well recently, aren't they?
Yeah, and a couple of players I think really have stood out to me. 2 hitters. You've got Alex Freeland. He hit 10 RBIs, 2 homers, 6 runs in the series against Memphis, and he got AAC Player of the Week. And then Andrew Sundin, the freshman catcher. We've had a few injuries at that position, but he's stepped in really well and delivered. I think he's had like 7, 8, 9, somewhere around there, RBIs the last 3 games, so he's really coming on. Great guy. And then pitching staff, you know, a little bit shaky in that Memphis series, but as Connor Stan continues to get healthy, because it looked like he was on a pitch count on Friday night, he got pulled after 2 innings. But as he continues to get healthy, I think the pitching staff is only going to improve.
I agree, and I think they're only going to get better. And this weekend, the UCF baseball team will now take on the ECU Pirates here in Orlando for their next series. The last 2 times these 2 teams competed, UCF walked away with a victory. So Camden, what do you think this team needs to do again to walk away with a victory?
Sweep. I think Alex Funderburg said it earlier. If they can come away with either a 2-1 series win or if they can even sweep, that'll put this team on the right track. Now, they did struggle a little bit a couple weeks ago, but now that we are back on nighttime, they have came back and now have won a lot of their last recent games. So, yeah, our baseball team's playing well. I think if we could sweep East Carolina, we'll be looking good. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I agree. Like, again, UCF is, I believe, tied atop the American at 5-1 conference. ECU is right on their heels at 4-2, so it's really crucial for them to win this series. I think they've got what it takes if they keep playing what they have recently, and I'm looking forward to a good series.
I agree. I think maybe they'll peak at the right time. We'll get a little bit into how far we see them going. But moving on to softball, the softball team swept Memphis this past weekend, making them 6-0 in conference play this season. Friday night, they walked away with a 4-0 win with the help of Gianna Mancha pitching a shutout. This game gave Jada Cody her 100th RBI of her career only as a sophomore. Game 2 was another shutout for the Knights as they beat Memphis 6-0. Camille Woodall tossed 6 innings with just 2 hits to help secure the win. The Knights also stole a season high of 6 bases as a team. Sunday's game was the sweep finale when UCF won 8-0. This is now the first time since 2019 that they have swept their first 2 conferences series, and they are at the top of the AAC. So shout out to the softball team. They're absolutely killing it. This show is filmed on Thursdays, but it goes live on Fridays, so you guys will know the results of the game tonight. But Camden, what did you think about this series sweep?
I mean, we've been talking about it for a few weeks now. This softball team is dangerous, all right? They are good. Everyone watching, listen, this softball team is really good. If I do my math correctly, I believe they've won something like 21 out of their last 23 games, something ridiculous like that. They are on a hot streak right now, and it is time to watch this team. I believe in a couple of different polls, they're ranked like 18th or 20th, so they're getting high up there. I love this team. I know we're going to talk about the Sunday game more later, and I've been loving going to these softball games. Me, John, Doug, we're loving it out there at the softball fields, right, John?
Yeah, we are. And what really stood out to me in this series, the pitching staff. We didn't just sweep Memphis, we shut them out. All 3 pitchers, Mancha, Woodall, and Felton, they all did fantastic. We're getting the offense we need. If this keeps up, this team could even maybe host a regional series, which would be huge for them because they get to avoid Florida and Florida State in that round.
Very 2 good baseball teams here, or softball teams here in Florida with the SEC and the ACC as well. But the Knights will look to get their 3rd conference series win in a row against ECU this weekend here in Orlando. So what do you need to see from this team, Camden, for these wins?
I know that East Carolina softball, I don't think they're as good as their baseball team. And honestly, our softball team is really good, all right? I expect a sweep. I hope so. At least winning 2 out of 3, just like the baseball team. I think this should be a fun series to watch, and I'm hoping we get the sweep. Right, John?
Yeah, definitely. If they can sweep USF on the road, they should have no problem beating ECU. But one player I'm looking forward to having a big performance, Camille Woodall. She's been a really solid addition. She had arguably her best game on Saturday, and she's going against her former team this weekend. So, you know there's going to be some motivation factor,
right.
And I expect her to have another great game.
Big motivation. And when it comes down to motivation, how far do we see these baseballs and softball team going? I see baseball, if they can pull out a series win this weekend, making it to the regional rounds. Softball, if they're able to be home for regionals, I see them making it pretty far. It's going to get difficult when they take on some SEC teams. Hopefully we get a matchup against Florida, but we don't really want it. But it would be nice to see them make a comeback from losing those 2 games previous in the season. But Camden, where do you see these teams ending?
I do want to say that would be a great story if we get to play Florida again. Baseball team, I'll be surprised if they can make it past, you said, that first round of games. Softball, though, this team is legit. I think that this is a lock to get into the final 16 teams. If they get past that, then we'll start to be surprised. I mean, this is a really good team. I'm not having expectations of them winning at all because I'm not ridiculous like that. But, hey, if they can make it past the last 16 teams, I'll be happy with this team. They're already really impressive, and I love this softball team. John, how are your expectations?
Pretty much the same as you guys. Like, baseball, if they keep playing consistently, they keep doing what they've been doing in recent weeks, they should be able to make a run in the AAC tournament and into the NCAA tournament. And softball, I have really high hopes for. Like I said, there's a potential for them to host a regional, like first time in school history, huge. And then once they do that, who knows what can happen after.
Yeah, and I agree. And I feel like now both these teams are catching on to more of a team effort. There's no really player that's really being singled out every single game like we see for basketball and everything like that. But I've really seen pitching staffs stepped up for both, and just full outfields, and just the lineup for these teams have been killing it back to back. Camden, if you have to pick a star player from baseball and softball, who are you looking for?
Oh, this is tough. Baseball, I'm going to go with Ben McCabe. That's an easy one. I'm such a big Ben McCabe guy, sorry. But Alex Freeland, that dude, he's hot right now, so I'm going to let that momentum keep riding. Softball, there's so many people to pick from. I love basically the entire team. Jada Cody, solid. Shannon Doherty, the one that hit that walk-off against Virginia Tech, solid. The pitching staff, solid. All really good all the way around. I don't think it's one player carrying this team. Like you said, it is a team effort, but the pitching staff is really putting in that work. John, what about you?
Yeah, for baseball, Jeffrey Pena wears 27, and Mike Trout wears 27 because he wants to be like Jeffrey Pena when he grows up.
Wow.
So, he's been a little bit quiet recently, but he's still like one of our best players. And as for softball, it's got to be Jada Cody and Gianna Mancha. They are the backbone of that team. Jada is ridiculous with the bat. She is leading the country in RBIs by a pretty solid margin. And Gianna is just ridiculous. Definitely better than that one pitcher down in South Florida.
Oh, wow. I do want to say you're right about that. This softball team is breaking records like every single week, it seems like, right? We're at the game, and they keep saying, there's a new record. I think it was Shannon Doherty who's most hit by pitch or something like that. There's a weird stat like that out there with one of those girls.
Weird stat to break a record in, but hey, more records broken is a good thing.
Yeah, this team is putting up numbers right now, and they're absolutely shining. I love this softball team.
Jada Cody is absolutely killing it as a sophomore, so I'm excited to see what she does for her next 2 years here at UCF. But both teams will be, like we said, home this weekend, so Camden and John, you guys going to be out there?
I will be at home with Easter
Camden
for my family.
only came to one inning last time. He left after 10 minutes, and now
Why
he's
you calling
not
me out
coming
like
to the
that?
series. What the heck, Camden? You say you love this team so much,
Yeah.
and then you're ditching us.
Yeah, where were you on Sunday when Doug and I were getting sunburned?
I was
Our
watching
knees
that
can
baseball
show for
game
that.
on ESPN Plus, and I still didn't know what happened in that.
All right, me and John will be out there this weekend rooting on these two teams. That's all the time we have right now for baseball and softball. John, thank you for being our baseball and softball UCF expert. We love having you on. When we come back, we're going to be talking about soccer, football, track and field, all of the above, so stay tuned for our next segment.
I'm going with Cowboys versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan, and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
All right, Jeff, don't tell me your winner, but who is going to the Super Bowl?
The New England Patriots
Oh my God.
and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
God.
The
Oh
NFL
my
is gonna
God.
the NFL is gonna make it happen.
Welcome back to segment 2 of Nighttime. This is our second to last episode. We are all super sad. What's even sadder, we tried keeping this guy back. I tried not letting him in the building. When he wasn't here at 9 a.m., I said, can we get someone else on air? Welcome back, Doug Smethurst. I have your name spelled right finally, Doug. Welcome back to the show. It's good to have you.
I mean, it's about time. My name's easy to spell. I don't know why both of you can't spell it. It's 4 letters, but
I spell do, she spells dough, whatever it is. We can't figure it out.
I answered anything at this point.
Yeah, that's all right, do. How we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great, and I'm happy to be back. I told you guys I'd be back for the last couple shows, so here I am.
You kept your promise. You don't flake like me, I guess.
We're super excited to have you on for this segment because we're introducing so many new sports that we have not yet talked about on Nighttime. So you ready to get started?
Oh, absolutely. I'm ready.
All right, so super exciting. My favorite, football is back this weekend for their spring game. Kickoff will be this Saturday at noon, and this is a really exciting weekend with baseball, softball, and football all happening at home. My heart is very happy. I'm most excited to see the energy after coming off the Gasparilla win and seeing the team having fun facing off against each other. I'm also excited to see Auburn defensive tackle transfer Lee Hunter play in the bounce house. Obviously, a spring game isn't played as hard as a normal season game, but I also want to see if blocking has improved for Bowser and see how well the secondary performs together. Camden, what are you excited to see from the spring game?
Where do I even start? All right, we know we are a football school, all right? When we were done watching basketball, we're like, yeah, we're a football school. We put a lot of our energy into that football team, and I feel like we were kind of disappointed with that 8-4 season, all right? We got a quarterback coming back in Mikey Keene. We got Isaiah Bowser coming back. We got Ryan O'Keefe back, and he looks big. We got Jay Flash back. The weapons are going to be there for whoever takes over for quarterback. And I cannot wait to see what happens with our offense. With Gus Malzahn coming back in his second year in the system, they should be a lot more efficient. I'm excited for offense, Doug. What about you?
Oh, like in Gus Malzahn's first year, we went 8-4. We had a few injuries, especially to Gabriel. We had to throw Mikey Keene in there, like as a freshman, I believe.
Yeah.
And he didn't play terribly, you know. He
won
did
us
what
some
he
games.
needed
Yeah.
to do. He got us some wins.
Won us a good
I'm
bowl game.
excited to see where in this taking this next step in season 2. I'm
very
interested
excited.
to watch this quarterback battle. We got a few transfers from Auburn, like the defense tackle Lee Hunter. He was Auburn's second best recruit, and
Wow.
he's ranked 81st nationally
Doug
from
coming out with the
2021.
numbers.
So
I like it.
I'm interested in this season. I'm ready.
I'm ready for it too. And you guys mentioned both, but when it comes to the quarterback battle, I think we'll see both Keene and Plumlee take the field to get a better grasp on who will be starting this season. Still up in the air, but Plumlee is superior to Keene in running. So if Keene wants the starting role, then he needs to have a better passing ability and control the offense, and then vice versa with Plumlee. So what do you want to see from the quarterbacks in this game, Camden, and who do you think will win the starting role?
Well, I'll tell you, that was a really good point right there, all right? Plumlee, good runner. I believe he played receiver before. I know Doug's going to touch on that. But I think it's going to be Mikey Keene. He's got more experience in this system, all right? And I like the way he finished out the season last year with a couple nice victories. So I got Mikey Keene with the guys that he's come to roll with, but I would not be shocked to see Plumlee make a run on this. You know, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you really have 0, so they got to figure this one out. Doug, what about you?
Well, like you said, Plumlee played receiver for a little bit, so he's definitely the superior runner. He truly understands the wide receiver's jobs on every play because he played it, you know?
Yeah.
So I think as the year goes on, Gus Malzahn loves a run quarterback. He loves a quarterback that can run. You saw it with Cam Newton. He loves those like read options, the power quarterback runs. So I think as the season goes on, we'll probably see Plumlee get more playing time.
Wow.
But Mikey Keene, but due to his, he's already been in the system for a year. He knows the system. I think that gives him the slight edge, and we'll probably see him start at first.
Right. It's going to be tough. Spring game's going to have to figure this out.
They will. So after the spring game comes regular season. Regular season comes the chance to win the title for the conference. So does UCF have a chance of winning the AAC title this year? I will be bold and say, I don't know. Camden, what do you think?
Real bold. Here's the deal. The 2 teams that we're really competing against probably are Cincinnati and I guess, Houston maybe?
Yeah, I guess.
Cincinnati's having some turnover, though, you know, with Desmond Ridder going to the draft. So they got to figure out QB there. I know they got a couple options there, but it's never easy having a QB that hasn't played come in. We have experience there. We have great weapons, all right? So if they can play the way that they were playing 2 years ago, UCF that is, I think we got a real shot here. It's not going to be easy. The big thing is we have Cincinnati at home this year, all right? That game is going to be packed. I'm really hoping it's a top 25 matchup, but I think we really do have a shot to win this conference. Doe, what about you?
Well, I think we stand a chance to win this conference. I mean, last year, Cincinnati, they had almost their entire team returned. Almost all their starters returned. That's why they had such good chemistry and why they were so good. But now they're losing players, especially Desmond Ridder. He's going into the draft. I don't know how their quarterback situation's looking. I mean, Memphis, they're just a high-powered offense. They don't really play defense there. So I think with Gus Malzahn, if we take the right strides, we can easily win this AAC.
I think they'll for sure be able to make it to the conference. Winning is just going to be, we'll see how the season plays out, but I think they for sure do have a chance of at least making it to the championship. So I want to move on to Darren Green Jr. He announced that he's entering the transfer portal. He led UCF in scoring this past season with 13.3 points per game. He also led the AAC in three-point shooting, making 38.5% of his shots. Darius Perry's also not returning, so the starting backcourt will be a lot younger next season. We talked about him a lot on this past season of Nighttime. Camden, what do you think about him leaving?
Darren, how could you do this to me? I saw you at 7-Eleven. I talked all this good about you. No, for real, it's a business. I get it. This guy probably wants to get drafted. Why wouldn't he? And I don't think he's getting the publicity he deserves. Now, the thing is, look at the games he played on the road. He was not that good, not as good as he was at home. But he is a really good shooter, raw talent. I've watched his high school film. He's a good shooter. He needs to learn how to get with the ball, dribble a little bit. I mean, good for him wherever he goes. I'll watch him. Doug, what about you?
Well, yeah, like I root for the best of them. He was our leading scorer this year. Him and Perry were both our 1 and 2 leading scorers this year. So we're going to need some new players to fill those roles and get us some buckets. But like you said, he was a lot better at home. He shot 44% from the field at home and 42% from three. On the road, it dropped to, 32% from the field and like 31 from three.
I'm so glad you have
So
that
there's a
number.
drop off there, definitely on the road.
Good.
It was. Well, a team that has been adding some really good players for this upcoming season, our women's soccer team, and they won the war on I-4 4-0, completing their spring schedule. We also wanted to give a shout out to their head coach, Tiffany Roberts-Sahadic, for joining the United States women's national team as an assistant head coach. So, Camden, what are you excited to see next season for these girls soccer players?
I'm actually a big fan of women's soccer, all right? I'm going to be honest.
They're
I'm going to
good.
say it now. I watch the U.S. women's soccer team more than I watch the men's soccer team, all right? I go out and I actually watch the women's games. They are so good, all right? I love watching them. I think this was just a chance that we could beat up on USF a little bit, though. They really cannot beat UCF at anything, and it makes me so happy to just look at that and see, ha, we got another win against y'all. Doug, what about you?
Well, we love saying horns down, and I don't know what it is with this year, but it seems like we're just dominating USF in almost every single sport. Like, they don't really stand a chance against us. We beat them 4-0. We just shut them out. And like Taylor touched on, our coach is now the assistant coach at USA for our women's team.
Wow.
We're going to get some good recruits because they want to play with her and get a chance to make a name for themselves to play on the USA team.
Very true. I'm excited to see for this upcoming season. They were great last season, and I only see them improving. But we wanted to take time to recognize some of the amazing accomplishments set by track and field this season. Just this past week, Brittany Floyd was named the American Field Athlete of the Week with her record-setting performance at the Hurricane Alumni Invitational. She won the heptathlon title, where she set the UCF and American record with 5,643 points. She earned the top spot by winning the last 3 events while also setting a personal best in long jump, shot put, 100-meter hurdles, and javelin. She's now ranked 7 in the NCAA outdoor performance, and she never placed less than 3rd in any of the events this past weekend.
Wow.
So big shout out to her. What are you seeing from this track and field team, Camden?
I know we got to go quick. Brittany Floyd is great. Doug, 1 point about her that you know. Go ahead.
About Brittany Floyd?
Yes.
She now holds our school record for most heptathlon points.
Good for her. Good for her. All right. All right. That is enough time for our last or second to last segment, our segment 2. And we will be back to crown our primetime picks champion. Stay with us.
It keeps coming back. We're gonna need to go away.
Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. What of you guys actually do hot sauce like regularly?
No.
No.
It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
No, the Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong. If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing that, I'm gonna let you finish, but no one would know what this was.
Nitro's dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is nitro thick? I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Fake squat.
obvious reasons. Babe Ruth, if you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a good thing.
He jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
Welcome back to this last segment of Nighttime. So if you watched the previous episodes when we did primetime picks, you would know that I ended up winning the college basketball primetime picks this season. Last season I did absolutely awful when it came to picking our football games. But before we get into our nightlight highlights of the week, Camden and I made a deal that I would get crowns with this UCF crown if I won. So you can go ahead.
Well, this is not the only thing that I have to do, but first I do want to say congratulations on winning. That is not the only thing I have to do, though, but congratulations to you.
You might see him in a specific jersey next week that does not correlate well at all with the team that he roots for.
No, it's going to be ugly.
We are also still joined by Doug to go over our nightlight highlights of this week. I'm going to kick it off and say that my highlight of the week goes out to baseball head coach Lovelady. In Game 3 against Memphis, Lovelady was ejected after Sonny hit a 3-run home run, but his bat was immediately checked for illegal use of pine tar. And the rule is you can't overturn the runs that took place, but unsure what the umps were doing on this one, Lovelady stood up for his players and ended up getting so heated he was ejected after some miscommunication. So he brought some spitfire into this game, made it really fun to see. We were all talking about it in the chat. And it was the next play after that was a home run. So he definitely got his team fired up. So I'm going to give him some credit for one, sticking up to his team and two, kind of lighting a fire to get another home run after that. Camden, who's yours?
Well, you're right. There are definitely some extracurricular activities after that. I am going UCF softball, Caitlin Felton, the freshman pitcher, same school as our very own John Alfano and Alex Funderburg. I was so excited to highlight this girl because watching that game on Sunday, that John was not at, by the way. Doug and I were there, only ones there. She pitched a complete game. They only had to do 6 innings because I believe they won 8-0. Total shutout. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, no earned runs. She played fantastic. And did you hear what I said earlier? She is only a freshman, all right? This girl's going to be around for a long time, and she played great on Sunday. Doe, let's hear it. Who's yours?
So I'm going to stick in track and field. We talked about her a little bit. I'm going to go Brittany Floyd. Field Athlete of the Week. That's an easy pick right there. She broke a ton of personal records for herself, along with the school record and American record of heptathlon points. Like, this girl went insane this weekend.
Wow.
And she didn't finish third in, lower than third in any event. What is she on?
That's a really good person right there to highlight. Yeah, good for her.
We set a bunch, not even just the ones that we just talked about, but the school set a bunch of records this past weekend and got a lot of player of the weeks. We had Britney and we had players from baseball, isn't that right, Camden, with so many different players just being named the AAC players of the week.
Right. I can't wait to see what happens for next week. You know, it's our last week. We're only going to have one more player left. I have no clue what we're going to do. It's going to be sad.
You know what's going to be even more sad next week?
What?
When you are wearing some blue and yellow colors compared to some red and silver that you're used to wearing. Are you ready?
No, it's going to be so ugly. I'm literally going to be on air and just straight face.
Well, next week you might also see me shed some
It won't
tears.
be as ugly as you crying on air.
That's very true. It's going to be ugly. It'll be my last episode. We're not going to get into it because I'm sure it's going to be a mess for me next week. So Doug, John, thank you guys for coming on and being some great guest hosts. John, I can't wait to go out to some baseball and softball games with you this week. Doug, you as well. Thank you, Doe, for just always being the best. Camden, of course, thank you for being the best co-host. Can't wait to see you in that jersey next week. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Nighttime, and we will see you guys next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max.